Welcome to Clear the Blear, Module 1, Video 5. We are talking about getting more air today. So what you can expect today is a few breathing techniques designed to help you open up, get more air, and release unnecessary tension in the area of your head, neck, shoulders, and even in your trunk as well. So the first one, like I said, is called Get More Air. And the second one, wait a minute, is this right? I don't think I have this right. Huh. All right, so not sure what this is. I think I need to work with the slides, but I'm going to do a bunch of cool stuff today around breathing. Okay, so first thing I'd like to teach you is a quick muscle tension release called hissing. Hissing is a wonderful, wonderful experience. It is very portable. You can take it with you wherever you go. Just sometimes need to do it a little more quietly than others, but it's a great way to just simply drop out a whole lot of neck and shoulder tension. Like many things that I do in Clear the Blear, hissing has ground rules that are very important for this to work. And also, like many things I do in Clear the Blear, the ground rules are around doing less rather than more. So I don't want you to force your hissing. This is not, I repeat, not about making an effort. I want you to keep this lazy. You might think of hissing as being as passive as letting the air out of a tire. Why? Because if you attack your hissing, you're going to be putting too much muscle tension and other types of input noise into the system, and that obliterates the way that this technique would work, right? So less is more when it comes to hissing. How to hiss, it's a breathing technique. The action takes place on your exhale. Of course, you do want to inhale. You want to take a nice deep inhale, get a goodly amount of air in. But in reality, you want to make this happen on your exhale. And it's very simple. It's just like making an S sound. I'll do one for you. But unlike what I just did, you would hiss all the way to the end of your exhale so that you have no more air left within the bounds of reason. And what I mean by this is at the end of your exhale, if you can't exhale anymore, I repeat, I do not want you to force any residual air out. That's too much force for the hissing exercise. And also, if you're still not clear about how to make an S sound, I'll just give you very quickly the instructions. You put your tongue at the back of your top teeth lightly, and then you exhale your air out of the space in between those two areas. Okay, very simple. It's just an S sound. And there's a certain automatic relaxation that happens, especially in the shoulders to some people after they try this maybe a minimum of 2 to 5 times. That's when I've noticed that people start to really get the benefits of the technique. So should your shoulders or neck all of a sudden start to feel wobbly or droppy or something, I don't want you to fight that. I want you to say, to just give into it and let that drop and let that release. That's the technique working. So you don't want to keep the rigidity that you had before you tried the technique, or you're going to obliterate the wonderful benefits of the technique. Your shoulders want you to let go of them, so go for it. Also, once that happens, you can start to examine for yourself by way of observer, how does this hissing technique affect neck, head, shoulder positioning? You know, once you feel kind of wobbly, you might find that the shoulders tend to drop, or the head tends to be a little more free and can sort of come back into center, or anything like that. So you just want to see how this affects you after you've done, say, 3 to 5 of these, and you might start to feel some of that release work happen. Okay, so inhale, exhale, hiss, hiss, hiss. Next technique, let's imagine your neck muscle tension away. This is another very portable technique. Generally, though, a lot of people get wonderful benefits from this, either maybe while they're on a break at the computer. You can still be at the computer for this, but you know, you may want to be, say, taking one of those 5-minute breaks where you're not doing anything, because you will be sort of going introspectively just a little. But also for people who have a hard time sleeping, and I know this isn't directly related to being at the office, but it may help increase your productivity at work. I have had numerous clients tell me that this technique, they do it right before they go to bed and they get a wonderful sleep. So consider that. Anyway, so before we do that, I want to talk to you about the quality. I want us to examine the quality score for our neck muscles. So I've given you a few options here. Do you have hard as rock neck muscles? Do you have neck kinks in the back of your neck, that kind of thing, or the back of your head? Are your neck muscles stiff? Do they not move your head very well? And you may have some other things you could add to this list. That would be option D. For most of us, we have something like that going on. It's just a really stressful world and we don't get a lot of chance to work with our necks. So let's, instead of having that kind of stiffness and lack of movement, let's brainstorm some qualities around our neck muscle tension. So number one, I'm thinking soft, I'm thinking malleable, I'm thinking moldable, releasing, relaxing, letting go, dropping, dripping, and like melted candle wax. If you remember from module 4, when we did the get more air technique, we talked a lot about using images to help us. And so now we're going to use an image to help our neck muscles be like some or all of those words that we did in the brainstorming activity. So I want you to apply the brainstorm. We're going to apply the brainstorm words to our neck by way of an image. Okay, and now I'm going to switch gears. So we did the get more air, and so now we're going to adapt the get more air and bring it up into the head. Now the head doesn't really expand quite as readily as the trunk does. The trunk is actually built to expand. It has a lot of spaces in between the ribs and lots of muscles that can have elasticity, lots of moving pieces, right? With the head, the structures of the head are more compacted towards one another. There are some joints there, but they don't move that well. So I still want us to take the structure, the instructions of get more air and put it into the head, but we're going to have a whole different focus now. And so we're going to just try, this is going to happen in a couple of phases. So let's just make sure we have our technique adapted to the head by doing a couple of these head as balloon experiences rather than trunk as balloon. So I'd like you to simply, and then we'll add more to this as we go along. So I'd like you to simply inhale, same idea as trunk balloon, see your head expand into a nice round shape as you inhale, and then exhale. Imagine that balloon getting smaller and flying off in the distance, deflating, the tautness decreases, and relaxing in your head and neck. And try that one more time. Inhale, and as you do, expand that head balloon in your mind's eye and your imagination all the way around so that you're really, the head is just a round structure, like a filled up balloon, and then exhale, deflate the balloon, let the balloon fly away, getting smaller and smaller in the distance, relaxing, releasing, letting go. Very good. So that's the basic technique. You've already learned it. We've now applied it in the head area. But what we need to do to really give this a wonderful edge is to meet and greet a couple of places that I've picked out for you in this area, because we're going to be using them in the next phase of this experience. Now, before we do anything, though, what I want us to do is go over that ground rule we talked about in the first video around mind your medical. So if you get headaches that is not due to muscles, in other words, migraines, I'm not familiar with types of headaches all that well. So you need to definitely be filtering what I'm giving you here and tailoring it to what you go through. But if you have headaches that are not about muscles, your doctor is really giving you a diagnosis, I don't suggest this next exercise. And the same as if you have any kind of seizure disorder or problem. Again, I think, at the very least, you should not do this right now, and you should talk to your doctor about it and ask them if this is okay to do. because again, I am not here to make you worse. I'm here to offer things that may help you in your quest to feel good in the office. If you have TMJ, temporomandibular joint, my guess is this would be helpful, but I can't guarantee it. So again, I would run this by a doctor before I tried it, or I'd try it very, very lightly, not really going out to the max or expanding out that much, or try it once and see the effects and feel your way through it. But I would be careful with TMJ. And if you have any other medical diagnosis or problem, or if you just simply get an intuitive hit that this is not right for you, then by all means, don't do it. I do believe that if you simply listen in these cases, if you listen to the instructions, you're still going to learn a few things. It might be worth at least one time going through it to see what it is, maybe how you would present it to your doctor, and get a sense of it for yourself. But again, headaches that are not due to muscles, seizures, possibly TMJ, and any other serious medical condition that you may have, use your discretion, back off, or don't do it at all. Run it by your doctor. Okay, so the areas that we target can bring wonderful, unexpected benefits. And I say this from personal experience. One thing that I've really enjoyed is what you're going to learn next did for my throat and my voice. It's just very opening experience. It opens my eyes, it opens my neck, and with my voice and throat, it is a wonderful experience around, it just gave me a little bit, certainly more freedom in the area, but then that gave me some more self-confidence around using my voice, and it feels wonderful. So I just, want you to be a heads up on that. And now we need to work accurately. So I'm only going to give you 2 key places so you don't have to get overwhelmed with information, but the more accurate you can be, the more this is going to open you up in a really nice way. So the first key place is simply the area between the bottom of your skull and the top of your neck. You can see the blue arrow going into that area there. A lot of us get very tight in our heads and necks. So while there is supposed to be kind of a little pit area, soft area in there, a space, sometimes at first we'll try to find it and we don't really feel anything soft. Just bear with me here. But you want to you can put your hand at the back of your skull. There's a protuberance there. Everybody has one. And then that's not the area, but it's a good place to start. And then you would just take your hand down until you feel try to find a soft spot. And then once you start feeling little knobs, then you've gone too far down. So then you'd want to come back up and find the spot between where those knobs end, on the top of those knobs, just before the skull bone starts. I want you to be aware of that area, okay? Now, we're not going to be accessing this directly as we do the technique. What we will do is use it to understand the other key places that we're going to work with, and also it's just an area to check once you're done with this technique to see if you've gotten any release, relaxation, or softness for applying the technique. Okay, so this is a key place or a landmark below where the skull bone ends, above where the neck, above the neck. Okay, just in that small little pit area there. All right, next one. Key place number 2 is the hard and soft palate. Now, I'm going to help you find this. So, first of all, the hard palate is the roof of your mouth. That's pretty easy. Behind that, going away from your nose and face and eyes and towards the back of your skull, behind that on the inside there is a soft palate. It's more movable. It's at the same exact level as the roof of your mouth. That's that area between the hard and soft palate. At the end of the hard palate and the beginning of that soft palate is a very key place that we will work with directly. So let's make sure that we have a good orientation to this whole area. So we first talked about that place in the back of your skull that's below that protuberance, so that if you can look at this picture here, the protuberance is sort of, the most extended aspect of the back of your skull lines up with the top of your ear approximately, or where your eyes are. And then below that, you have that place that we just touched, that soft neck pit. It's just, that's the area where the neck stops and the head begins. And that kind of lines up with below your ear, and it lines up with the bottom of your nose, and actually the interface between the bottom of your nose and the top of your upper lip. So if you can see, this is all one line, one horizontal line. You can look at it like a road, and on the road are these wonderful truck stops. Each have their own special homemade dish. You know, the back of your neck may have some home fries, and the bottom of your earlobe can have mom's apple pie, and then the roof of your mouth might have you know, a Mai Tai or something, and then below the bottom of your nose and above the upper lip could have banana cream pie. So each one of these truck stops along the way on that horizontal line between that place that you just touched and the bottom of your nose has a specialization. And we want to know what these specializations are because we want to work accurately so that we can get these fabulous results. We're not going to use every single one of these. You don't have to be responsible for them all, but I want you to see where they are in relationship to each other and the level that they're at. So again, we are going to be working at the level and the placement of the roof of your mouth, right where it ends at the back and starts becoming the soft palate. So in that area is where we will be working. And that area corresponds approximately to, I don't know. So we're going to practice our technique again. And this time what I'd like you to do is when you take the air into your trunk balloon, your head balloon, I'd like you to think about that place. I'd like you to see as though you were initiating the breathing activity from that spot that's at the back of the roof of your mouth right before it becomes a soft palate. You don't have to put a lot of tension there and you don't have to stay there for a long time, but I want you to initiate that three-dimensional trunk balloon. So inhale from that point between the hard and soft palates, taking the air in and expanding the balloon all the way around. And then when you exhale, begin the exhalation from that point, seeing the balloon get smaller, less taut, flying away in the distance, getting rid of its tension. And that's that.